Live from Mac and Bob's in Salem, Virginia, it's Maroons Tuesday Night Live with your hosts Ron Myers and Bob Southern.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday Night Live from Mac and Bob's on the Maroon Webcast Network and also on Salem Comcast TV. I'm Ron Myers along with Bob Southern. Bobby, once again, we got a great lineup tonight.
Yeah, we do, Ron. We've got head men's basketball coach Paige Moyer, Susan Dunnigan, the women's head coach, junior forward Daniel Eco, Tatum McGee from the girls, Ryan Flugard, the head soccer coach for the men's, Richmond Bramlett, and then, of course, the always quiet Dave Sampson.
Quiet. That's not in his vocabulary.
Has no opinion whatsoever on anything.
No, he doesn't. He'll tell you. I'm telling you that. You can also follow Run It College on Facebook and Twitter. Bob, an added bonus, every Maroon sport is broadcast live on the Maroon Webcast Network. Just go to runitcollegeathletics.com and get into the game. They do a super job.
Yeah, they really do, Ron. They do a tremendous job in bringing the games to the people who can't be here. And before we get started, I just wanted to say a belated happy Veterans Day to all the veterans who are serving or have served this country out there. Just want to simply say thank you for your service.
And thank you.
Absolutely, and back at you.
I also want to thank the Lord of the Board, our engineers, SID Richmond Bramlett, Johnny on the spot, Reed Hall. And speaking of Reed Hall, we want to say congratulations to Reed. He just accepted a position with Dartmouth University.
And he doesn't even know how cold it gets in New Hampshire. So I tell you what, it ain't Salem, Virginia, buddy.
Well, Bobby, the old saying was, when it's springtime in New Hampshire, it's still 20 below. But congratulations to you, Reed, and you'll bring a lot to the table up in Dartmouth. So we wish you the best of luck. Also, Chandler Wright, and we want to thank Athletic Director Scotty Allison and also Brad Moore. They're the ones that make all of this possible here. Bobby, they do a tremendous job.
Yeah, they really do, and from the top on down, it's a Class A organization, trust me.
And none of this is possible without our sponsors, Mac and Bob's. Bobby, Mac and Bob's, it's Student Appreciation Night tonight, and I don't know if you went up there on the top shelf, but they have got some of the best food, the chicken wings, the chicken fingers, they got the Swedish meatballs. They've got it all.
Right up your alley, Ron.
I don't miss a meal, that's for sure. Also, Bojangles, Chick-fil-A, Dairy Queen Fast Signs, Krispy Kreme Donuts, Kroger Food and Drug, Carl York and the company do a fantastic job. All Sports Cafe, Time Technologies, Stop In, Med Express, Papa John's Pizza, Pepsi Cola, and Service Masters. Bobby, we can never express this enough, just like we do on our ESPN football and basketball show. Spend your money with these good people because they're the reason why we're here.
Yeah, they are the reason we were able to put this on the air, and it goes back to basketball also, too. Without those people paying those fees, we wouldn't be able to do it, so we simply say thank you.
Bob, we had an exciting fall this year. You had men's and women's soccer, field hockey, volleyball, of course, cross country, and golf, and it's been exciting.
Yeah, it really has. Richard Bramlett's going to cover that next section with you, but the men's and women's soccer team were successful. The ODAC volleyball team got to the semifinals of the ODAC conference tournament for the first time since 2009. Men's cross country team did real well in the ODAC, finishing 5th and 6th. And the field hockey team is a young team, and don't let that record of 3-13 fool you because they lost 3 games by 1 goal and another 3 by 2 goals. So Coach Brianna Banks is going to be she's got a nucleus for a good young team next year.
Well, as Bobby just said, our first guest will be SID Richmond Bramlett, and he's going to give us a postseason wrap-up of all of the sports. Also, Bob, you're going to be talking with head basketball coach Paige Moore and also 6'8" and 3/4 center Daniel Eco.
Daniel Eco, actually, and he's quite a young man. I met him previously in the lobby, and I was looking up at him, and you were telling me earlier that you said in your heyday you could post him. Are you crazy?
I could take him to Longwood and low post him to
I
death.
don't think so. Not in your best day.
As a matter of fact, we were over at Donald J. Kerr in the press box, and I introduced myself to him, and I showed my pat and move on him, and he just kind of chuckled and said, "Look out of the way, little man." So he put me in my place. Also, we're going to have, like I said, strength and conditioning coach Dave Sampson, and he'll be talking about the Maroon Warriors. Also on Tuesday Night Live show, I'll be talking with women's head basketball coach Susan Dunnigan. Bob, if anyone knows ODAC basketball, Susan Dunnigan does.
Yes, she certainly does, Ron. I believe she's in her 25th or 26th year. She's the all-time women's winningest basketball coach at Roanoke College, and a great lady.
And also, we're going to have women's basketball player Tatum McKee. She was a last-minute addition, and we're excited to talk to Tatum McKee. And also, Bobby, we're going to talk to Coach Ryan Flugrad, the men's soccer coach, about his first year here at Roanoke College.
Yeah, he had a successful year. At one time they were 9-1, and I think that overtime loss to Randolph sort of set them back, and I don't think they ever recovered from that. But still, it's a great first year. He's going to lose 8 seniors, but he's got the scoring nucleus coming back for another good year next year.
Well, we have coaches here, we have players, we have alumni, we got faculty, and most important, it is student appreciation here. And Bobby, what can you say about Mac and Bob's? They do such a super job, not just Roanoke College, high school, and not just in Salem, but in the whole community. They're the backbone, and they spend so much money supporting a lot of the athletics and students in the Roanoke Valley.
Yeah, Bob Rotance and Joe Dishaw do a tremendous job here. They've been here a long, long time. They started with 10-seat stool, and I go back far enough that I can remember that. And both Bob and Joe do a great job with the community, with Roanoke College, and they're to be commended for that.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get the show on the road. When we come back, we're going to be talking with SID Richmond Bramlett, wrapping up the fall season, all right here on Tuesday Night Live from Mac and Bob's on your Maroon Webcast Network.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
When you find out about the DQ $5 lunch, all this food for only $5, you gotta tell people about it. Boom, I just dropped a $5 lunchogram on all my friends.
The $5 lunch, entree, fries, drink, plus a sundae. This is fan food, not fast food.
And we are back here at Mac and Bob's Tuesday Night Live on the Maroon Webcast Network. And I want to welcome here SID Richmond Bramlett. Richmond does a lot of things behind the scenes. He makes all of this happen. Richmond, before we get started, congratulations on your engagement.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a couple weeks ago, exciting, and so now we just got to figure out a time when I'm not doing anything to be able to pull this off.
This is year 2013. What do you say, 2018, 19? You'll probably have enough time.
I'll have to check my calendar, but possibly by then.
Well, congratulations to you. Well, let's get started off with Coach Phil Benny's ladies soccer team. Boy, those young girls, they got hot in the middle of the season.
They did. In the middle of October, they went 8-0-1, and they outscored their opponents 30-3. Earlier in the season, it was a lot. They had a little trouble kind of getting the scoring going. Had a couple games in a row where they couldn't find the back of the net. But Coach Benny really made some changes, and they going 8-0-1 and outscoring your opponents 30-3. It's hard to top.
You know, I remember talking to Coach Benny. They struggled there at the start of the season. He knew he had a young team there, and I said, Coach, don't worry about it. I said, when you score that first goal, they're going to fall like apples on a tree in the fall. And sure enough, it did, and they got hot, and they were playing as good as anybody in the ODAC in the season.
Well, and you've got, if you look at their top four scorers, and Ashley Barnes, Larna Bryan, Courtney Yoke, and Natalie Torres, they're sophomores and freshmen. I mean, they've got still plenty of room to grow, and I think they're going to make a good run in it next year.
Well, good things are going to happen to Coach Benny over the course of the next 3 years. Also, Coach Brianna Banks, field hockey team, she took 22 freshmen and sophomores into a very strong ODAC conference. Richmond, it was a baptism by fire for those young newcomers. They played hard. They were always in the game, and the future is going to be bright for Coach Brianna.
And if you watch most of those games, I mean, I think I added up, it was 6 or 7 games that were decided by 1 to 2 goals. And Roanoke was in it the entire time, and some of those games, they didn't score until the final few minutes of the game. Roanoke was in it this whole time, and they have, again, 19 freshmen, 22 freshmen, sophomores. Again, they're going to grow, and they're going to be able to perform the ODAC very well. They still had 3 really good wins, 3 really good wins and 2 ODAC wins against Virginia Wesleyan and Sweetbriar. So.
And when you talk about baptism by fire, me and Bob Souther, the color man, this was our first time. I had never been to a field hockey match, so it was a learning experience for us.
Again, I coached field hockey for a year just because they needed an assistant coach, and so I coached goalkeepers, though, and just practiced on my golf swing.
Well, people don't realize you were an outstanding A1 badminton player.
I was 3-time intramural ODAC, or not ODAC, three-time intramural badminton champion, and only singles runner-up to my badminton doubles partner. So,
wow, you're just a man of everything.
I do a lot.
Also, women's volleyball coach, Coach Trail, she had another 19-win season, 15-year total, a whopping 266 victories.
Yeah, it was impressive to see her get her, we didn't see it at home, but just to have her get her 250th win to start out the season, it was really it really kind of set the pace for where the season was going. Again, 19 wins, and I was up there at Washington Lee with the team, and they won that second set against Washington Lee. And you really thought they were going to bring that one home and send it on to the ODAC finals.
I laughed when I told her. I said, Coach Trail, you look kind of uncomfortable. This was probably right there at the end of the season. She goes, I am uncomfortable, Ron. I got on brand new blue shoes, and I looked down at them. I said, well, why don't you take them off? She goes, no, it wouldn't be very ladylike on the floor. So they won 3-0, and she come walking up there. I said, how's those feet? She goes, when you win, you don't feel the pain. So she was right.
Well, she had a lot of help, too. I mean, Mackenzie Tyree and Samantha Klossman named today to ODAC all-conference teams. Samantha to the second team, and Mackenzie to a third team all-conference. So congratulations to them. They certainly deserved all the accolades that they got this year.
Definitely big kudos. Also, Coach Finn Penix, who the men's and women's cross-country team, another successful season.
Another successful season. Men took sixth place, women took fifth. I had to write it down because you've got all these times, but Harrison Toney was top runner for Roanoke in the ODAC championships. He made second team all ODAC honors. With his ninth place finish, finishing the race in 26 minutes and 57 seconds. Austin Grubb and Drew Langren, John Wiggins, and Adam Wojciak all performed really well for the Maroons on the men's side. And on the women's side, freshman Carrie Dalton, she was having an outstanding performance for the team the entire season. She finished in 15th place, just narrowly missing that all ODAC honors. And again, Claire Brooks, Hannah Klein, and Melissa Bowerly. And we had some depth issues in the women's cross-country side, but the girls who were there really made up for those and took great times.
And last but not least, and a lot of people forget about this, the men's golf team, Coach Rob Landis, they were a young group, but they were a very good group.
They're a really good group, and the good thing about golf is it's split into two seasons, almost kind of like tennis is here, in which tennis gets a couple of fall dates, and then they run the rest of the spring. Golf really goes, 6 events in the fall, 6 events in the spring, and they did really well. In 2 of the events they finished 4th, 2 of the events they finished 6th, and the final event with a huge group they finished 13th. Alex Taylor is shooting an average of 75.3 for his average round, and then 2 others in the 70s, Andrew Butts and Jack Prater, are shooting 77 and 79 respectively. So, come spring, Coach Rob Landis is going to have them in good shape for the ODAC championships.
And I know a little bit about golf. I've been teasing my color man, Bob Southern. I want to get a new driver. I said, but I also need a new putter. He said, why? When it takes you 8 to get to a par 3, what do you want a putter for? I just need a new game.
You just turn it around and use it like a pool cue.
That's it. Well, we don't want to forget about men's soccer. Coach Ryan Flugrad, he's here. He's in the house, and we're going to talk to Ryan about his first season here in a half part of our segment. When we come back, Bob Southern's going to talk to men's veteran basketball coach Paige Moore. We are right here at Mac and Bob's on your Maroon Webcast Network on Tuesday Night Live Student Appreciation Night.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
When you find out about the DQ $5 lunch, all this food for only $5, you gotta tell people about it. Boom, I just dropped a $5 lunchogram on all my friends.
The $5 lunch. Entree, fries, drink, plus a sundae. This is fan food, not fast food.
Good evening and welcome back to the Roanoke College Maroon Webcast Live broadcast from Mac and Bob's in downtown Salem, Virginia. My guest tonight is the all-time winningest basketball coach in the history of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, Paige Moyer. Well, you got some fans out there.
I like it. They're watching the UVA VCU game
Oh,
right now, so
they're
good
behind.
stuff. It
I
wasn't
thought they
for
were
me.
cheering your
If I'll take
appearance
it,
here.
though. I'll take it. I should take that.
Well, first and foremost, Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Coach, you opened your season Saturday night with an exhibition game against Division I Winthrop, and you gave the Eagles all they could handle in the exhibition game. The Maroons won the battle on the boards, and we're still very much in the game late in the second half. What are some of the positives you saw that came from that game, and what are some of the things that your team's going to have to work on?
Sure. Well, we've got to finish. We've got to get into that second half and be better in the second half than the first. I think it really got our young players an opportunity to play against quality competition. I mean, they're not going to play against any better athletes than what they saw against Winthrop. We're not going to play against anybody that has any more size. Now, we're going to play against some teams in the ODAC that are just about like that. So it's going to help prepare us for that. We were 3 weeks in. They were 3 months in. Basically Division I now, you can practice almost year-round. But I was really pleased with the effort, how well the guys played together, and just a great way to open the season with a little bonding trip to a Division I school like that. And to lead at halftime and lead 5 minutes in the second half was good, but I wish we'd have finished.
Yeah, and also, too, you played in front of 3,400 fans, and as you mentioned, Winthrop is a taller team, and yet you won the battle of the boards 48-41.
We did. That's something we've told the guys that we have to be good at that. You don't see many teams that out-rebound their opponents that don't have good records, and that's a huge emphasis for us this year, and the guys have responded so far. But, again, every day's a tryout. You got to win that battle every day.
Yes, you do. Coach, you lost your leading scorer from last year's team in Kwanzi Ampanza, who averaged a little over 17 points per game. What player or players are you looking for to make up that lost production?
Quasi had a great career at Roanoke. We miss him, but we challenged all our other guys to just come back a little bit better, and I think they've met that challenge. I'm real excited about the work ethic that our kids had over the summer. You can see some kids that have proven themselves that they've gotten better in the fundamentals we asked them to get better at. Some kids are better defensive players. They came back in better shape. You can tell they all lifted weights over the summer. So we challenged them. That's how you replace a great player. Everybody else just ups their game a little bit. And I can tell them, even though you lose a great player, they're not going to make us play 5-on-4 next year. We get to replace him, and we'll play 5-on-5, and hopefully everybody else will help make up the difference. And I think they have. I think we have that chance.
Just the old saying, next man up.
That's right.
All right, Coach, you're a relatively young team. You only have 4 seniors on your 16-man roster. You begin play this weekend in the Goucher Tournament in Baltimore against the Fighting Scots of Gordon College. That's a team that finished 21-7 last year. Along with the tough opener, 4 of your first 5 games are on the road, including your ODAC opener against Washington and Lee, I should say, on November 30th. That's not an easy way to begin the season.
Not at all, but, we end up with 12 games during the season. I think, getting a chance to prove yourselves on the road will prepare you for ODAC play, and we've tried to produce a schedule for our guys that's going to prepare them to win ODAC games. And to do that, you need to go on the road. You need to play in some good environments. The trip to Baltimore is, again, another great way early in the season, going on the road with your kids where you're eating, sleeping, and just hanging out together all day long is a tremendous way to build team chemistry. And we did that for a reason. And we're playing this good competition up there, and we're not going to shy away from good competition. Roanoke, as an athletic program, we want to play the best. And, like Ric Flair, be the man, you got to beat the man.
I noticed in reading that 3 of the last 4 years you have actually played Division I teams in the preseason, so that's trying to make your team better. And
our guys, you want to play in those type of environments. I mean, the Winthrop, the amount of money Division I school puts into the little things like getting student camaraderie, the pep band sitting right behind us. That was fun. I mean, it's the environment you want. We go into timeouts, and I've got to scream my head off because the guys can't hear me because the pep band's playing right behind us. And Division I's do that for a reason, and it's fun to play in that environment. The only thing I don't like about it is the timeouts are brutal. I don't have that much to say. And every 4 minutes, you've got a 2-minute timeout. And the guys, I go out there and just kind of hang out with my coaches for a little bit and then come in there because I just, play hard, have fun.
And you came very close to spoiling their homecoming, right?
We gave it a shot. And I know Coach Kelsey, and he used to be at Wake Forest as an assistant. And when I was at the University of Cincinnati, and he played at Xavier University at that time, so I knew of him then. And it was fun to watch him tighten up down there because you're D1 and you're losing to D3. You're struggling.
Yes, you are. Coach, speaking of the ODAC, 3 teams, Randolph-Macon, Hampton City, and Virginia Wesleyan. They were picked in the top 25 in the nation in the preseason poll. In the ODAC conference, Roanoke was picked to finish 10th. Is that bulletin board material?
That's tremendous bulletin board material. I mean, our guys don't work hard all summer to finish 10th, and we have a goal to be at the top of the ODAC and have a chance to win a title like anyone else at the end of the season. We think we have the makings of that. We've got to be better. We've got to be more consistent, but we came very close last year. But this is a new year with a new group of young men, new dreams. They've proven that they're willing to work hard, and now we just got to prove that we can do that consistently throughout the whole season. We've got to get better every day. I think last year we started out really well and didn't improve as much as we needed to during the year. We finished strong, but in the middle we had a few injuries and we didn't respond well to them. And this year we're going to respond well to that. And I like our depth. I like how the guys have played well together. And again, they're willing to share the ball, which is important. And we'll just make sure we're willing to do all the dirty work and play defense like you have to be a champion, and rebound like you have to be a champion.
Absolutely. Coach, I know that you and the Roanoke basketball program are involved in several charitable organizations, the V Foundation Classic being at the forefront. You know, most folks know who Jimmy Valvano was, but why did you choose the V Foundation and the American Cancer Society?
Yeah. Well, Jim Valvano, when I was an assistant coach at Virginia Tech, he was at NC State, and he was one of our bitter rivals. And we, as the one school when I was at Tech, we recruited against a lot, so we got to know him very well. And when he got sick, you know, it was just tremendous what he accomplished. I mean, here's a guy that won a national championship, but fortunately he's being remembered for raising over $100 million for cancer. And so when he passed, it just happened that his brother Bob was a Division III head coach, and they were coming here to play that year. And I said, we'd like to take the proceeds from our tournament, and it'd be about $5,000 that year, and put that towards the V Foundation. So we hosted the first V Foundation Classic. It was a Division III one. And it's funny because we'll always get stuff from Dick Vitale and people like that know that we did that. And so it was kind of a labor of love. The American Cancer Society got involved because that is a tremendous organization too. They're different organizations, but they do work for the same cause. And the American Cancer Society was willing to get involved with it, and we just kind of split the proceeds between them at that one time. And it's been enjoyable to do it. Coaches versus Cancer is the National Association of Basketball Coaches' chosen charity. So as an NABC member, it's fun to support that as well. And the money, you just don't understand how their money's spent very well. It's spent on fighting cancer and spent on helping cancer patients.
And I know the last 3 years you raised over $5,000 each, and in the course of this, over $100,000. So in 2002, Coach, you were appointed to the National Association of Basketball Coaches Board of Directors. This is a post in which you'll serve through 2017. In addition, you are also the Division III liaison. What exactly does the board do, and what are some of your responsibilities?
We organize the 5,000 members of the Coaches Association. Our annual convention is at the Final Four every year. Make sure that's run properly, but we also spend a lot of time working with NCAA on rules changes, you know, for recruiting for your season, for your eligibility and players. I don't know if I want, you know, the funny thing now is they're talking about the new rules in basketball, but we oversee that too. And we're talking about, you know, a foul is a foul, and we've got to clean up part of the game. I don't know if I want to take credit for being a part of that right now or not, see if it works, but the game needs that. The game's gotten too physical in some ways. And our association is involved in all those areas. I'm an advocate of Division III. It's fun if you go look at the board of directors. I'm one of the 2 or 3 names you don't know if you're from outside Roanoke College, and it's been neat to be associated with you know, some of the names you know, and just other great coaches that are involved in helping the game get better. And our motto is that we're the guardians of the game, and we want to make sure college basketball stays as pure as it can, and is a great outlet for student athletes to play.
Well, if you're serving until 2017, when do Ron Myers and I go to the Final Four with you? I understood that you go to the Final Four every year?
I've gone since '85, and it's in Dallas this year. You know, you come, I can get you out there. You better take out a mortgage because those hotels are expensive at those places. We'll have a good time. And next year, I think it's in Dallas and Indianapolis. It goes to some great cities. It's been a lot of fun. And you know, I was fortunate my dad was in coaching, so when I was an assistant at Tech, '85 in Rupp Arena was the first one I've been to, and I plan on going to every one as long as I'm breathing.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure it's a tremendous time. You know, Coach, they say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Your dad, Charles, a former head basketball coach here at Roanoke, led the Maroons to the 1972 National Championship and finished his career with an overall record of 616 and 238 over 31 seasons as the head coach. He is listed in the top 75 collegiate coaches of all time in number of wins and winning percentage. That's quite a family coaching legacy.
Well, I was lucky. My dad, I remember when I was a little kid, he was asked, why don't you go into coach? And he said, to get off the farm. And he was born on a tobacco farm and grew up with his brother. And his brother got out first. His brother was the head coach at Catawba College for 35 years, and my father followed in his footsteps. And it beats work. I mean, it's so fun to be on a college campus. It's so fun to work with the young people I get to work with. It's been 24 years at Roanoke has gone by like a snap of a finger. It's been a unique place to be. I love the college. I love the people that what I work with, but also the people we recruit to come to Roanoke College. And I know the kids come out of here well educated. And I've got over 100 alumni that have played basketball for me now. And I've been a blessed person.
Well, the old saying is, you find a job you like, you never work a day in your life.
That's exactly right.
So, listen, I got to have one final question before you go. Have you ever shown any of your teams the picture from 1972 when the Maroons won the national championship? And if so, has anyone ever asked you who that young man is behind number 52, Everett Hurst?
No, the guys have seen that picture. I think a few people have recognized it. It's
Do you want to tell them who that young man is?
Yeah.
He's only about 10 years old, isn't he?
Yeah, I was 11. I was 11, and that was a neat time. And it's fun that those guys still come back and are very involved in our program. Of course, you had Hal Johnson, who was a legend in the admissions office and at the college, as well as being our first basketball American. But you go back to the Frankie Allen, the guys I was able to grow up being around that had such a great impact on my life, and really brought my association to Roanoke College, twofold. When I came back, it's been a neat place that I can appreciate it from when I was 10, 11 years old to now.
And on that team, of course, was Jay Picola. He's now the CEO of Puma in North America, so a lot of great memories there. Coach Paige Moore, ladies and gentlemen, it's always great to visit with you. Good luck to you and the Maroons in the coming season.
Thank you.
And remember, if things get tough, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
The same thing Coach Garst did, remember, with his Salem High School basketball
We're going to go bowling.
You're going to take them bowling.
If the chemistry didn't work out, we start bowling every Monday night.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Coach, thanks again for coming on the show. When we come back, I will be interviewing a key member of this year's basketball team, men's basketball team, Daniel Eco. You're watching the Roanoke College Maroon webcast live from Mac and Bob's in downtown Salem, Virginia.
This Big Bowl box is awesome, Mom.
Yep, enough chicken, biscuits, fixins, and tea for all of us.
You call that effort? Put your back into it. Why don't you come over here and put your back into it?
Why doesn't it look like the box, Mr. Pinson?
That's right.
Shh, honey, the longer he takes, the more we get to tailgate. Good job, hun.
Tailgate everything with Bojangles Big Bow Box. Grab a 12-piece super tailgate special. Bojangles, it's bow time.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Roanoke College, timeless and true, smart and solid, practical and professional, making discoveries about yesterday, creating visions for tomorrow, lifted by a winning college spirit, forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College, classic for tomorrow.
Good evening and welcome back to the Roanoke College Maroons webcast live from Mac and Bob's in downtown Salem, Virginia. My guest tonight is junior forward Daniel Eco from Richmond, Virginia. Daniel, first and foremost, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bob.
Well, you played in front of 3,400 people Saturday night in Rock Hill, South Carolina against Division I foe Winthrop and gave the Eagles all they could handle. As a team, Roanoke shot 40% from the field and out-rebounded Winthrop 48-41. That's a pretty strong opening statement. What do you and the team take away from that game?
Well, in my mind, we took away some positives, we took away some negatives. first half we played phenomenal. We took it to them. We didn't let the D1 label get to us at all. They tried. It was their homecoming weekend, so they tried to get us all hyped up and whatnot. They brought in a motorcycle and turned down the lights for the starting lineup, and they thought I guess they were intimidating us, but came out of the gate hard and played hard. I think fatigue kind of got to us in the second half, and that's where we got to remember, go back to the basics. Execution, communication on the court, just running through our stuff, and keeping it simple. Don't try to do anything, push it or whatnot. So it positive and negatives were really the takeaway from that.
Yeah, the old acronym KISS is keep it simple, stupid. So that's what you want to do there. Head coach Pat Kelsey from Winthrop said, and I quote, "The first thing I'd like to say is how much respect I have for the way Roanoke came in and played. They were really prepared. They executed. They played together. This part I like. They walked in here with the confidence and the swagger that they belonged. Early on in the game, they were the better team. That's a credit to how prepared they were. It sounds to me like you, your teammates, and the coaching staff might be on a mission this year."
Without a doubt. We saw where they put us in the preseason, and Coach Moore told us he doesn't really like to put much on preseason, but that's extra motivation. We don't like the respect that we were given, and we're ready to prove them wrong. We're ready to prove that we're capable of being up there in the top tier of ODAC, with the Randolph-Macons, the Hampton-Sydneys, the Valwes of the world. We worked hard this summer. We put in a lot of work. I was here this summer for classes, and daily there was 4 or 5 of us in the gym, and I know I was talking to my teammates who were home for the summer. They were in the gym on a daily routine, lifting, working on jump shots, working on getting quicker, just everything they needed to work on. Everyone was putting in the work, and we're ready to prove that we're capable of taking this ODAC by storm.
Yeah, I'm a Roanoke College alumnus, and I'm not saying that because I'm about to say that I have good feelings on this team this year. I don't know what it is, but I think you guys are much better than 10th, and I think you're going to prove it.
Yeah, I think we got a good balance of speed, shooters. We got size, experience with youth as well. It's just really balanced, and I'm really excited what we're capable of.
Well, you finished 12-15 last year overall and 4-12 in ODAC. I guess we went through this, but without question, Roanoke plays in one of the toughest D3 conferences in the country, and your team lost its leading scorer from last year. So what's it going to take for you and the Maroons to improve on last year's record? Just dedication?
Well, first off, the record was 12-15, yes, but there's 6 games in our schedule we lost by 6 or less points. If we pull those ones out, we're gone from 10th to 5th or 6th that season. So your record doesn't show what we were capable of last year and where we're at. It's just, I think, what's going to put us over the top this year is finishing. Going back to the Winthrop game especially, we played hard through the first 20-25 minutes, and then last 10 or 15 we kind of slipped up and let up a little bit. This year we can't allow that to happen. We need to execute our plays to the bitter end, play all 40 minutes.
Yeah, and Coach Moore mentioned that too. You have to finish better than you did last year. So on a personal level, you were the second leading scorer on the team last year, averaging 12.4 points per game and pulling down 8.5 rebounds per game. I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, but you impressed me as the type of young man who wants nothing more than to help his team win, but also to finish the season averaging a double-double. What's it going to take for you to achieve that?
Just pushing myself to be better. Obviously, the main goal is to win, and I think we can do that through multiple ways. This individual has a good game, this individual has a good game. We being balanced as well, but if I push myself, stay out of foul trouble, that's my parents, my coaches all tell me that, stay out of foul trouble. That's going to be key if I want to get a double-double this year. But really just got to stay motivated. I think through the last half of last season, I did what was necessary then, and I think if I continue that mentality every time I go on the court, I'm capable of averaging a double-double this year.
And you only missed by 1 rebound your first double of this year against Winthrop.
Yes, sir.
In high school, you were named the Male Athlete of the Year for Monacan High School by the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I'm fairly certain that other schools were looking at you, and if so, what made you decide to come to Roanoke College?
Well, there was multiple things. Coach Moore made a last-minute visit out, and that was, very impressionable on me. I thought that was very respectful of him to come out and talk with my family, show that he cared. I appreciated that a lot. But I also love the surrounding area. You know, the mountains in the background of the campus are beautiful. There's a lot to do besides just going to class and playing basketball, which is nice, so I don't get bored, get into trouble. But yeah, just in the social atmosphere, I thought, you know, people here were very nice, and the academics are really exceptional. I feel like I have learned a lot here and continue to be pushed to be better, and it'll prepare me wherever I go after I graduate here.
Absolutely, and I see you have a double major in political science and history. What are you going to do after Roanoke?
I haven't really decided yet. Ultimate goal is to maybe play overseas 1 or 2 years, but we'll see how that happens. You know, I got to continue to work on my game, but realistic goal, probably go to law school. W. Nell's good one. I know that's our rival, so I try
Law
to keep
school,
that
but
on the
not
low.
playing basketball.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll talk about the grad school part of W. Nell, but I've also like Tulane offers a sports law program at their school, and that's really caught my eye. So probably law school.
Okay. Well, I can't let you go without quizzing you on a small part of Roanoke College basketball history. This young man, and I use the term young loosely, is still today the leading scorer and rebounder in the state of Virginia with 2,780 points and 1,758 rebounds. He averaged 24 points per game and 15.2 rebounds per game while at Roanoke. He was the first player to be named to the Virginia All-State team all 4 years of college. And before you think this is a trick question and the guy asking the question is the answer, no, it's not me. I finished second.
Are you sure?
So, yeah, I'm sure. Trust me. So who would this man be?
Well, I'm a big avid sports statistician. I look in sports statistics, so this one's pretty easy for me. I'd have to say it's Frankie Allen.
Very good. Very good. You know, I really did play basketball here at Roanoke College, but the reason I had to stop is back in my day, you know, when we scored, you had to climb the ladder to get the ball out of the peach basket and bring it back to play, so I had to give it up. So.
Understandable.
All right, so you did so well with that first one. You don't know the second one's coming, so and no help out there if you know the answer, please. This young man set an ODAC tournament record last year by pulling down 22 rebounds to go with 23 points in a game against Bridgewater. Any idea who that might be?
It's a tough one. Have to go with myself on that one.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now I know why you're a history major. Daniel Eco, folks, if you haven't seen this young man play basketball, do yourself a favor and go watch how the game should be played. 110% effort all the time, every time. Daniel, thank you for being on the show, and to you and your teammates, the best of luck this year. I got one final thing for you, Daniel. I've asked Coach Moyer if he would loosen the reins on you this year and let you take some three-pointers, but he hasn't gotten back to me on that yet. So, when we return, Ron Myers will be interviewing Susan Dunnigan, head women's basketball coach at Roanoke College. You're listening to the Roanoke College Maroons webcast network live from Mac and Bob's in Salem, Virginia.
Meet Dan and his dog Bongo. They started their own dog biscuit company, but Dan wanted more. So Dan worked with Fast Signs. They created a plan to attract more customers, get more business, wag more tails. Still, Dan wanted more, and Fast Signs provided more. Fast Signs help with digital displays, mobile marketing, merchandising, fleet graphics, and more. Now Dan has more sales, more locations, more of the good life. And more is exactly what Fast Signs delivers. More than fast, more than signs, more than 530 locations worldwide.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
For information or schedules on Valley Vision TV programs, visit us on the internet at valleyvisiontv.com. Remember, you're watching the Valley's only true local network, Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7.
Welcome back here to Mac and Bob's Tuesday Night Live on your Maroon Webcast Network. I have none other than Coach Ryan Pflugrad, who just completed his first season as the men's soccer head coach. Coach, I know you wish the season was still going on. It all started in July in Argentina and ended up in November in Lynchburg. Tell us what happened during that 3-month span.
Yeah, when you're in it, it seems like a long process. When you're done, man, that went by really quickly. So it just seemed like just the other day we were just down in leaving for Argentina, and you know, a lot went down. We had quite a few pretty special wins on the season, a lot of tough games throughout. I think really we had a lot of experiences as a group. The guys saw a lot, and that's something we talked about throughout the season. I mean, I don't know if I've worked with a team that has seen so much in a single season. Between the fact that in Argentina we're faced against, you know, players that are undoubtedly going to be professionals and big-time professionals in the world stage, a couple of U17 Argentinian national team players, so they're seeing an experience there where they're playing against some of the best players in the world, and then to go into the season faced with some adversities that we got hit with early with injuries, battle through them, some big-time wins early on in the season, some very good attacking play, very consistent play on both sides of the ball, and then just a streak of some overtime games too, which you just shake your head at. Again, I hadn't seen that much of it in a season specifically, maybe throughout my 13 years of college coaching, 12 years of college coaching, but not in one season. So
we talked about it, and I don't know whether you said this or whether it was Richmond Bramlett. You had lost a double overtime game for the second time, and after they scored the goal, and I knew you were frustrated. Somebody said, you know what, soccer is a cruel game.
Yeah, I mean, the cliche, but it's a truth, is that it probably is the sport of any of them that you can dominate statistically and not win the game the most often. Like, you know, again, if in basketball, if your shooting percentage is higher, generally speaking, or if you are the better team on a day, generally speaking, you're going to win that game. Same goes for football and, you know, a lot of other sports, but soccer, because it can be a lower scoring game, and you know, sometimes the ball just doesn't go in, and it only needs to go in one time for one team to win and the other team to lose. So I do think it is probably the cruelest sport in terms of that.
As we said, you started this season 8-1-1. You were ranked in the top 15 in the country for the whole month of October. And then going back to the injury bug, wow, the first one, senior Johnny Hughes, that was a heartbreaker. And then, of course, your offensive firepower, Mark Dinkle, had an injury, I believe, to his groin. But we felt bad for Johnny Hughes because it was a senior year and he was having such a great first 5 games on the defensive side of the field.
Yeah, I think we all felt bad for him in terms of especially senior year and what he had been doing for the group. Had a good Argentina, had a great spring last year when we went through that, and definitely lost something there. Not just a senior, but also a very good player that, you know, when we look at it, the one thing that I really think we missed in him in terms of on-field production is he's excellent on restarts, corner kicks and free kicks, and getting his head to the ball. He proved it last spring. He scored a great goal against VMI in our spring game when we beat them, and then down in Argentina was very dangerous on a lot of corner kicks as well. And again, we go to the stat line. We out-cornered most every team we played throughout the season, but I think that gives you one more 6-foot-plus guy who's good in the air, and you know, we lost throughout the year with the injury.
Okay, on the positive side, though, Coach, you have 21 returning players coming back if they should decide to all come back. Just to name a few, Carball, Lentine, Beck, Goyette, Ilias, not to mention goalie Sinclair coming back. That's a good nucleus to work with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a positive. The thing that I look at every day, we have a kind of like a recruiting board in the office, and you look at the group that is returning. We've got guys that can play all the way through that 21, and some that maybe even didn't get as much opportunity as they would have liked this year. We have some very, very talented players who did prove their ability not only in the ODAC, but you know, nationally, that they're players that you know, are at top of the game in the country. We also have, you know, from what I know of the guys, and especially what I've seen in the last 2 weeks, an incredibly motivated group about to return, and I would not doubt us moving forward with the group that we have.
Now, you talk about recruiting. I know the hotbed is the Blacksburg-Christiansburg area, and you've got several on your team. I'm sure as soon as the last game was over, you were hitting the recruiting trail, and not to mention the players probably working with Coach Sampson in strength and conditioning.
Yeah, we kind of coaching staff. We hit it the next day. The day after we were done, Corey, assistant coach, was in Northern Virginia. I was in Maryland the next morning, and we've been going after it pretty much nonstop ever since. Try to get the guys to take a little bit of time on their own, be normal college students for a little bit, but I'll tell you that didn't last long from what I'm seeing. They're itching to get back out, itching to get in the weight room, itching to prepare. I think, again, the feeling amongst the guys in the group is that this is not going to happen again. We're not going to end a season like that, and not where we should be, which is champions of the conference.
Well, the great thing is, Coach, you use that as a motivational tool. Most of these young men, people don't realize this, they all play for travel club teams starting in the spring, so they'll go straight from March all the way till they come back to school right into camp.
You mean our current guys?
Yes.
Yeah, there's some summer league stuff that they can do. We do have, like, a spring season as well, 16-day training season, and then we get to play basically 2 exhibition days. In addition to that, we got a group of guys that loves to play, so you can probably find them in alumni gym at any point during the winter, January and February months, playing pickup soccer, futsal soccer, and then when it hits the summertime, there's like all sorts of leagues all over the country that they can go in and continue to play in.
Well, I know Roanoke College is excited about next season and are glad to have you a part of the team. Congratulations on a 9-win season, and we look forward to broadcasting your games again on the Maroon Webcast Network.
Okay, thanks for all your guys' support this season.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Susan Dunnigan, head women's basketball coach, all right here on Tuesday Night Live, Mac and Bob's on the Maroon Webcast Network.
Like a lot of people, I'm trying to take care of myself a little better. Some things work really well. Others, well, I'm trying. But one thing I know for sure, eating better is so much easier with Simple Truth.
You'll find Simple Truth and Simple Truth organic items throughout your Kroger store. The green circle tells you only the good stuff goes in. Plus, Simple Truth is delicious and affordable.
And that means a lot.
Simple Truth. Easy to find, easy to understand. Only at Kroger.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Looking for great food and the big game in high def? Try the new menu items at All Sports Cafe, including thick and juicy burgers grilled to perfection, served with fries and your choice of any side item. All Sports Cafe, where the object is to score great food.
And welcome back here once again. Tuesday Night Live from Mac and Bob's, downtown Salem, Virginia, and you are on the Maroon Webcast Network. When you talk women's ODAC basketball, the first name that comes up is Coach Susan Dunnigan of Roanoke College. Coach, you have an unprecedented 599 wins, 13 ODAC titles, 11 NCAA appearances, and you are only one of 9 Division III coaches with over 500 wins, and you also have 16 seasons with 20 wins or more. In your first day when you came to Roanoke College, did you ever dream that would happen?
Not in a million years. Of course I didn't. I didn't even know if I wanted to do this. It just, they came to me and wanted to know if I wanted to try college coaching. And at the time I said, no, not me. I'm not good enough to do this. And they asked then, they ended up, because they wanted me to do it full time, and I couldn't do it because I had to teach at the time. And then they came back after Lynn Agee had finished and wanted to know, said that they would give it to me full time. Would I take it? And I thought, I'll give it a try. I can always go back to teaching.
Well, a lot of people don't realize this, Coach Dunnigan. You coached track and basketball for 11 years at Cave Spring High School.
I did.
Did that help prepare you going into college?
Oh, definitely. Well, actually, I started track at the junior high over there, and who would have thought I would be coaching track? But it was a great, great experience with the youth, the kids that they had at the middle school and at the high school. And yeah, I learned a lot. When you're teaching, you have to learn how to just go with the flow. You know, you can't get all wrapped up in being perfect in anything because it changes every single day. And the kids, it's just a different level, and you have to approach them differently. But it was still the same kids, the same wonderful kids to coach. And I hated leaving, but it was the best thing for me at the time.
Well, you have coached 12 All-Americans in your career. Just name a few right off the top of your head.
You're putting me in the spot. Of course, my first one's Karen Harvey, was Karen Jenkins Harvey. Donna Kogar, my second. And we had Ann Harwood. She was on my first team, very first team. Mary Beth Harvey, she was in there also for early years. And on Amy Athey, who just got inducted in the Hall of Fame. And there are more that I'm old, I can't remember.
Well, let's talk a little bit now the upcoming season. You had a scrimmage this afternoon against Guilford. How did you do?
We did a lot better. We did better than our first scrimmage. We had a scrimmage the first time last week, and we were okay. We were all right, but we knew we had a lot to learn. And tonight they came out. They grew up. They grew up a lot in the scrimmage, and I was very impressed. They started doing some things. They started thinking, and not being so afraid, and just doing things off instinct. And they started executing. And our defense was outstanding at the time, but we're still learning.
You have 9 freshmen and sophomores, 4 juniors, and only 2 seniors. Wow. Paxton Gwynn, 16 points per game, 7 rebounds last year. Laurel Hankins, 9 and 4. Tatum McKee, who we're going to talk to here in just a minute, 8 and 6. And also Kelsey Smith, 8 points per game, 25 steals, and 32 trays last year.
Right.
What can we expect out of these young ladies this year?
Well, I'll tell you, I think people ask me about this year's team. I tell them it's the same team. We're missing one kid, which is our point guard. And we're getting our nucleus back. We're getting that group that had this. We're finally working in 3 years of experience. We got kids who've worked together for 3 years, which we have not had. So in the past, we've always been young. You know, that was my excuse. We're always young. We're young. We're young. And now finally, we're getting to what we've been looking forward to. And we've got with our seniors leading the way, and we've got a great group of kids after them. So I'm anxious to see how we're going to do. And they're anxious also. I'm excited for them.
And that's a great thing to be. Coach, any coach, head coach will tell you, I'm only as good, or we're only as good as my assistants. And you've got 2 good ones, Lynn Richmond and also Connie Cromer.
Yeah, it's Corey.
Corey.
Cromer. That's okay. She won't mind. She's probably asleep now anyway. But yeah, I've got some great assistants. I wouldn't be doing it right now if they weren't with me. Lynn's been with me forever. I can't tell you how many years. I've been here 33, and she's probably been here like 28, maybe 28 of those years. But yeah, they're wonderful people.
I had the opportunity to broadcast her softball state championship game several years ago on ESPN, and that was the first time I really got an opportunity to talk to her, get to know her, and very impressive. Okay, you start the season Saturday at Greensboro, North Carolina against Alma, and Sunday versus York of New York, before your first home opener back here against Ferrum. Will this be a good test to get you ready for ODAC, considering 10 of your first 14 games are on the road?
I don't know who scheduled that. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, I was brutal. But we're going to find out where we're about early, and it definitely will help us. And this weekend coming up, I'm anxious to get them started. They're tired of practicing. We're ready to get started and play and see what happens.
Well, you're picked 7th in the ODAC preseason polls. Of course, Eastern Mennonites picked number 1. But with the ODAC, I've always said the ODAC is the SEC of Division III. There's so much parity from top to bottom.
Oh, there is. And I'm honestly very proud of our conference, because we have gotten so much stronger through the years. And young coaches coming in, and they're getting their recruiting done. They're bringing in new ideas. And it's really pushed us. And it's our turn to start, picking it up and trying to reach their level now. Everybody was trying to beat us in the past, and now we've got to start trying to pick it up and try to beat them.
Well, Coach, much success to you
Thank
and the
you.
Lady Maroons. We're excited to be bringing the live home play-by-play action to all the fans on the Maroon Webcast Network, and we can't wait to be a part of the
Well,
2013-14 season.
I am so glad that you're helping us this year. I know it's going to be fun.
Well, Bobby and I are so excited about it.
Thank
We're
you.
going to take a quick 60-second break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Tatum McKee right here on Tuesday Night Live, Maroon Webcast Network.
Thank you.
Constant flash flooding. Wow. Which can ravage communities with up to 30 inches of driving rain in minutes.
Hey, honey, yeah. I'm on my way.
Water or smoke damage can often take you by surprise.
I gotta call you back.
But our experts restore your peace of mind with our quick response, clear communications, and thoughtful care for your home.
Next on our countdown, wildfire.
When your home has damage, big or small, call ServiceMaster Clean. ServiceMaster Clean. Peace of mind restored.
Roanoke College. Timeless and true. Smart and solid. Practical and professional. Making discoveries about yesterday. Creating visions for tomorrow. Lifted by a winning college spirit. Forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College. Classic for tomorrow.
Be sure to catch Roanoke College sports on Valley Vision TV, Comcast Channel 7 in Roanoke, Salem, Botetourt, Lexington, and Blacksburg. Brought to you by Mac and Bob's, Main Street, Salem. For programming information or schedules, go to valleyvisiontv.com.
Welcome back to Tuesday Night Live here in downtown Main Street, Salem, Virginia, Mac and Bob's Restaurant, and we are on the Maroon Webcast Network. To my left here is Tatum McKee. She's the 5'9" junior guard from Cornelius, North Carolina. Played her high school at North Mecklenburg, where she was the most valuable player. She was also East Lincoln All-Tournament selection team her senior year. Tatum, how excited are you and your teammates to get this season underway?
Oh, we're really excited. We're ready to get out there and start putting it all together. I think we have a real strong core this year, so we should have a really good season. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, practice gets boring after a while. You
It
want
really
to get out
does.
there and play.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as a freshman, you averaged 7 points a game and 6 rebounds. Last season, as a sophomore, you averaged 9 points a game. You were third in the ODAC with 67 steals. Everybody wants to score points and be the hero, but you're a terrific defensive player. I watched you play several times last season. Who taught you, or should I say, who mentored you to be a good defensive player?
I don't know if it was a mentoring or a teaching thing. I just used my speed, and I just built on that and just used it to my advantage against other people.
Well, speed is a key. You got to have good feet, good hand-eye coordination to steal basketballs. Would you rather play tough defense, be remembered by that, or would you rather score 32 points a game?
I mean, scoring is always ideal, but I'll do what I'm good at.
You take both of them.
Exactly.
Score it in there. Okay, who makes you a better player in practice?
The whole team does a really good job about that. We got Paxton, who always tries real hard. We got Kelsey, who they're over there yelling at me. We got Kelsey, who is always there pushing. Everybody is really good at just pushing each other, trying to make each other better all day, every day.
Now, today you scrimmaged Guilford.
Yes, we did.
Could you tell a big difference between your first scrimmage and today's scrimmage?
Absolutely. We came together a lot more as a team, and we all are learning each other, how we play each other better, and we're really using that to our advantage now.
What would you tell a senior in high school who is committed to Roanoke College, who will be coming in next year? What would you tell them that would help better prepare them for their freshman year?
I'm going to tell them to grow. We need some height on our team, so growing would be ideal. But I'm going to tell them that they should get into the gym and shoot and work on all their skills. Coaches really look into that whenever they get here. And academics is a big thing, too. Just keep on top of your work at all times.
I forget what basketball game me and Bobby were doing several years ago. It was a state playoff game, and The team got beat by about 16. They were out rebounded, and I asked the coach the first thing. I said, "What happened?" He said, "We got out-talled tonight."
Yes.
So you can't teach height, that's for sure.
No.
So Coach Dunnigan, put that on your Christmas list. We need height, according to Tatum here. What's your major you're majoring in right now?
Sports management.
And where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
I would like to have a steady job. I don't know where, but I would just like to have a career that I can build off of.
Well, you could be like our color man, Bob Southern.
I could be.
He spent 13 years at Roanoke College. He was a super duper redshirt senior.
I think I might come back and take Dunnigan's spot as the head coach here.
Well, she would be getting a good one. Tatum, good luck to you and Coach Dunnigan and the rest of your peanut gallery over here, your Lady Maroons. And we're excited about broadcasting the season coming up. When we come back, Bob Souther's going to talk with the funniest guy I know, Coach Dave Sampson, and he's going to talk about the October Maroon Warriors of the Week right here on the Maroon Webcast Network. Thank you, Tatum.
These days, life is busy, but amazing. From the sci-fi brilliance of technology to the existence of toast, we move at a crazy pace until this happens. Time for MedExpress. Walk right in, get the care you need, and get right back at it. MedExpress, because life is urgent.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
Roanoke College, timeless and true, smart and solid, practical and professional, making discoveries about yesterday, creating visions for tomorrow, lifted by a winning college spirit, forging lifetime friendships with professors who prepare you for a place at the head of an operating table or another bright future. Roanoke College, classic for tomorrow.
And welcome back to the Roanoke College Maroon Webcast live from Mac and Bob's in downtown Salem, Virginia. Alongside me is a man who always brings his unique perspective to life in sports, strength and conditioning coach Dave Sampson. Dave, welcome back to Tuesday Night Live.
Glad to be here once again.
Coach, I asked if you were ready for Thanksgiving. Why don't you tell the crowd what you just told me?
Absolutely not. I'm at the point right now where I'm just trying to make it from one meal to the next. So I survived dinner. Me and my youngest had dinner at the house tonight. We managed to cook ourselves a pizza without setting anything on fire or damaging any of the property. So now I got my sights set on breakfast tomorrow morning.
All right. I like a man who has a game plan. You know, since the last time you were here with us, Coach, fall sports, with the exception of cross country, has ended. Now it's on to women's and men's basketball. Do you, as a strength and conditioning coach, have different programs for different sports, or are they more likely the same from sport to sport?
There's some basic fundamentals that are the same, but you know, you want to train the different sports a little bit differently based on their particular sport, and you at the same time you want to try to integrate their skill set as well. And what I mean by that is, you know, along with the conditioning and the weightlifting, you want to integrate some basketball skills for the basketball team, just as you would soccer skills for the soccer team, field hockey skills for the field hockey team, and lacrosse for lacrosse. So that's a great question, but we try to train them in the arena in which they play. So anytime we do some conditioning or agilities with the basketball team, we like to get out on the court just to get them accustomed to being in that area.
Now, do you get some interaction when the training programs are going on between different teams, or are they all separate and distinct?
There's some interaction. Like it's, you know, it's really kind of fun and it's kind of controlled chaos around this time of the year where one season's ending and the other's beginning. you know, you'll have some of the soccer teams and the basketball teams. You know, they're in the weight room together. They're doing their training together. Just like after the first of the year, we'll have basketball and lacrosse, baseball, and softball. So it can be a little bit helter-skelter from time to time, but the athletes do a great job, and it's a lot of fun. I like being that busy.
It always helps to be busy. Well, as you mentioned, Coach, fall sports have, for the most part, officially ended. Just some thoughts, your thoughts on how the season went for the men's and women's soccer teams, women's volleyball, women's field hockey, and, of course, men's and women's cross country.
Well, I'll start with the cross country. Those kids are a breed apart. Anybody that just goes on runs, you know, that's something that takes a real special athlete. You know, physically tough and mentally tough. And you know, Coach Pincus and Coach Blickel do a phenomenal job every year. So it's you know, those two teams, they're at the point now where they start every season expecting to be ODAC champs or do very, very well in the ODAC championships, as well as any tournaments that they go to or meets that they go to. You know, we always have kids placing really high in those. So I think they had another great year. So we're all really proud of them. With respect to the soccer teams, gosh, it's kind of a tale of two cities there. You got one team that started out really hot, you know, the men's team, and one team that started out really cold, the women's team. And, you know, I give the women their just due. They really found their identity, you know, about midway through the season and just seemed to come together at the right time. And, you know, I thought they had a hell of a year, and I thought they were one of the best teams in the ODAC at the end of the year. They did a great job. You know, the seniors did a good job of leading, and the freshmen at the end of the year certainly did not play like freshmen. You know, the guys' team, you know, you got to bleed for them because, you know, they were riddled with injury. They had, you know, two of their marquee players, well, actually four of them. You know, Johnny Hughes out for the year, Mark Dinkle, you know, with a pretty bad growing pull. And then Chris Fisher was kind of dinged up during the year. Mark Strelo was dinged up during the year. So they battled through a ton of adversity. And, you know, in talking to Coach Pflugrad, you know, it's tough to remember back a team that has gone through that much adversity in that short a time. So, but I give them credit. Those guys never gave up. You know, they fought to the bitter end, and I thought they got the raw deal on a bunch of games. I thought they were a much better team than their schedule would indicate.
Yeah, it seemed that once they lost that game in overtime to Randolph 2-1, they started having trouble finding their offense.
And it was tough, yeah.
It was. And on the women's part, as you mentioned, they were undefeated in the month of October. They went 8-0-1 with 7 shutouts, so they really turned it around also, too.
Yeah, great deal. Great
really
job.
Was.
And both teams have some really, really key people coming back. So I look for good things from both those two teams next year.
Now, how about the women's volleyball and last but not least, field hockey?
Well, let's start with volleyball. That's funny you should say. I had lunch with Blair and Randy the other day, and you know, they were talking about the recruiting battle. You know, if you remember back, our volleyball team kind of started on the lower end of the ladder with respect to ratings in the ODAC at the beginning of the year, and at the end, I think we finished up third. And you know, they were saying, you know, it's amazing how much easier it is to talk to the kids out in the recruiting world when you finish third as opposed to a little bit down the hill a bit. So, you know, they did a heck of a year. They had some kids step up. You know, I know that they're going to miss Samantha and Mackenzie, but gosh, they had some really good first-year players in there that I think exceeded a lot of their expectations. And you know, I was with them quite a bit in preseason and saw them the first couple of games, and I'm not surprised they did as well as they did. They're a good bunch.
And Samantha, congratulations to her. She was second team all ODAC conference, and Mackenzie was third team and also made the all-tournament team. So they had a great year. 1911, like you said, they're a young team and bigger and better things to come.
They're going to be tough next year. They're going to be tough next year.
I agree.
Yeah. And our lovely field hockey girls, boy, it's just, you know, they got a tough road to hoe. The ODAC is a pretty strong field hockey conference, and you know, I think we probably had the fittest team that I've seen in probably, gosh, 4 or 5 years out there this year. The girls really worked hard in preseason. They worked hard in every day in practice, and they certainly competed in every game. And you know, a lot of the games that we lost, they were tight games. You know, the score really wasn't an indication because they just did a great job. They fought until the very end. So I was really proud of those girls too. And you know, they're going to miss some key seniors, and they're going to be greatly missed. But the good news there is, man, they got a ton of great returners coming back for next year.
They really do, Coach. I know they have 22 freshmen and sophomores coming back, and as you mentioned, they were 3-13 on the year. It's a learning curve. Sometimes it's steeper than others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, They lost 3 games by 1 goal, as you mentioned, and 3 by 2. So if you turned that around, they could have easily been over 500.
Yeah, they were in just about every game, or they were in more than probably 75% of the game. So, you know, one thing happens here and there, and it's a totally different outlook.
Absolutely. Well, on to the part of the show everyone waits for. Sampson's Maroon Warriors. It's all yours, Coach. Go ahead and take it away.
I'm not sure. Looks like we're going to start with the lovely ladies of field hockey. I got my nominees, and hopefully you guys can figure out my pattern here. Sophia, Kelly, and Shannon. Those are my 3 seniors who have been with us for the past 4 years. You know, I can remember when they were little snot-nosed freshmen and came in here that, you know, they knew everything and, you know, argued, you know, hand over fist with everything you told them. And you know, these girls begged for workouts last spring and in the summer and in the fall. And I think every one of them had really, really great careers here. They grew up as individuals, and they became better field hockey players when they were there. I'm not going to pick or single any one of them out. We're going to get all 3 of them T-shirts.
Oh, I like that. I like that, Coach.
Next up, we got a whole army of young men here. Our men's soccer team. First up, Carl Lease, Mark Strelo, and Ned Feldman. I'll talk about them real quick. Then Johnny Hughes, Brian White, and Pat Bain. You know, these guys, gosh, I can remember when they were little freshmen as well. You know, Carl last year probably suffered one of the nastiest gaping flesh wounds in his shin I've ever seen. It looked like he just came straight from the butcher shop. But the guy battled back. He had a heck of a year this year. Strelo, I haven't seen the poor guy healthy since he transferred from Christopher Newport. And at the end of the season this year, probably the last 5 or 6 games, man, he really played lights out. You know, got a couple good goals, did a great job defending, and really went after it hard in there. So I'm really proud of him. Ned Feldman, he's a special player. Gosh, the kid, for his height, he might be 5'7", and he might weigh 150 pounds with rocks in his pocket. But he defended everyone in the league this year. Just did a phenomenal job. He should probably get the Maroon Warrior of the fall. But Ned did a phenomenal job. It was a treat to watch him play, especially being a local kid. You know, had a lot of support here locally. Next, Johnny Hughes had a season and career-ending injury earlier in the year up at a tournament in Lynchburg. Brian White, one of the faster kids on the team, and Pat Bain, our off and on central midfielder. He played all over the field. He's the kind of guy that when you need somebody to step in and play, then Pat does. He's very good on the ball, has a good field IQ, and does a heck of a job. My final 2, Robert Hernandez and Will Dooley. Although Will is listed as a junior, he's going to finish up and graduate this year. He's going on to bigger and better things. And Robin had a great year last year and this year. Just does a lot of things playing on the outside of the field. But these guys, I tell you, they brought such a great intensity every day, day in and day out to practice, and really made the guys around them better in practice. And the ones that didn't get a ton of playing time did a great job of making our starters better players just by the intensity and the tenacity they brought within the respect to the practice field.
And if I'm not mistaken, Coach, I think the men's soccer team is going to lose 8 seniors from this year's team.
I know, and that's a lot.
That's
really a lot.
Is.
But on the other side of the coin, not unlike our women's team, man, they got a ton of talent coming back.
Yeah, the women's team is just the opposite. They're bringing back everybody, it seems, in the kitchen sink.
Yeah, and we got to get a couple key recruits, just like any sports team does during the course of the year when you lose to graduation. But the men have some really good players coming back, and they have some good leaders coming back as well. Here's another pattern here. We're not going to pick any winners on those either, because I'll give all those guys shirts because they just, they're seniors. I want them walking away with a little something, and I'm really proud of them. Our 2 volleyball players, Mackenzie Tyree and Sam Klosterman. Again, we talked about them a little bit earlier. Mackenzie's sort of the, locker room and floor leader. She's a general out there on the court. I like her because she's, I think the political correct word is she's spunky.
Absolutely.
Both on and off the court. But, she doesn't take any crap from anybody, and she certainly holds them accountable during practice and games. Sam is up there, number 1, because she's a senior, but number 2, I talked about her. She won an award earlier in the season. She's got a pretty hefty scar going down the center of her abs, And I didn't look for her to play this year. It was, you know, she had some surgery in the off season, and I couldn't imagine after the surgery she went through that she was going to be in any shape to play. But she stepped up, and in talking to Blair and Randy, she probably had the best season she's ever had. She certainly, you know, is in the best shape and really did a great job. Did exceeded, you know, the expectations that the coaches had for her this year.
Yeah, and she ended up with 747 kills. That's 7th all-time on the Roanoke career list.
That's not bad because we've had some really good girls play volleyball
Absolutely.
here. So again, both Mackenzie and Sam get T-shirts. So they did a great job, and they'll be missed quite a bit. And last but certainly not least, our female soccer standouts. One of my favorite goalies, Brogan, my girl from New York, Maya Cantor, and I think Kara's from PA. She's from PA, yeah. Kara Capel. Brogan is, I think she's one of the spiritual leaders of the women's soccer team. She's you know, always has something positive to say, you know, always cheering for her players in both practices and games, and she's just great to have on the field and in the locker room, a real inspiration to each and every girl that's out there. Maya, I've watched her. Remember when she was a freshman, her and I actually had a talk today. I couldn't believe that she's a senior. She was graduating. I thought maybe she was a sophomore or junior. It seems like that, you know, she just ought to be out there on the field. But Maya is, she might be 5'2" at best, but she is one of the meanest little things that I've ever seen out on the soccer field. She fought through some injuries last year, stayed healthy all season this year, and happily in the games that I saw, she played very physical brand of soccer, and I didn't see her get any cards, which was a little bit disconcerting, but I saw her put a couple girls on the turf.
And Kara, of course, she's a senior from Trumbull, Connecticut. That's
Connecticut, that's right, Connecticut.
That's my neck of the woods where I grew up. As
her boyfriend's from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Connor Dubois. He's from PA. Okay. But Kara came back in great shape, did a great job for us this year and last year, really matured as a student athlete and a player, and had a pretty good season for us. But again, with all those three girls, they're going to be greatly missed, but all three of them get T-shirts. I don't want to single any one of them out because I thought that they did a heck of a job this year.
Well, you're going to be giving out a lot of T-shirts after the show tonight, Coach.
So go back to the house and print some up, I guess.
Well, Coach, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. We appreciate your insight. I hope that you and your family have a great Thanksgiving, and look forward to talking to you again next month.
Always a pleasure. It's good to see you again.
Absolutely. When we come back, Ron Myers and I will be wrapping things up. You're watching the Roanoke College Maroon webcast live from Mac and Bob's in downtown Salem, Virginia.
Take me with you.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Mac and Bob's opened for business in 1980. Over the years, we've grown from 10 stools to a full-service restaurant that seats 330 people. Now we invite you to come try our new breakfast menu, featuring sweet potato pancakes, eggs Benedict, omelets made to order, stuffed French toast, homemade sausage and gravy biscuits, and much more. Open for breakfast Monday through Saturday at 8 a.m., Sunday brunch 10 a.m. till 2. See you for breakfast at Mac and Bob's in Salem.
And welcome back to Tuesday Night Live here at Mac and Bob's on the Maroon Webcast Network. Bob, it was so good to see all the students here tonight on a Student Appreciation Night. And wow, what a spread of food they had.
Yeah, it really was, Ron. The students come out, and we thank them for that, along with our guests. They were all tremendous, and you know, with the upcoming women's and men's basketball season about to start, we wish them the best.
Oh, we do with that. Also, we want to thank our guests tonight: Paige Moyer, Susan Dunnigan, Daniel Eco, Richmond Bramlett, Tatum McKee, and Coach Flugrad, and always, of course, Coach Sampson there at the end. Also want to thank Mac and Bob's for supplying all the food out here. Our board operators, Reed Chandler and SID Richmond Bramlett, Scott Allison, the AD, and, of course, Brad Moore. Bobby, next Tuesday, 7 p.m. from the Bass Center, it's women's basketball versus Ferrum College. We can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait. The Panthers will come in and give Roanoke College women's team their first test of the year, and should be a good one. And again, on a personal note, we want to say congratulations to Reed. I was talking with Scott Allison, of course, the Associate Athletic Director, about that, and he agreed with me that Reed doesn't have any idea how cold it gets in New Hampshire. So,
well, he's going to find out, and I can tell you in January he's going to be teeth chattering and wiggling around. We wanted him to come up here and get a word from him, but I know he'll come back in maybe the first week of December getting some of his stuff, and we'll get a chance to ask him how it's going at Dartmouth University. Well, Bobby, like I said, Tuesday night, women's college basketball. Join us. Until then, I'm Ron Myers, and you're who?
You're Ron Myers.
I'm Bob Southern.
Okay, whatever you want.
And we'll close on this note. Go Noke. Good night, everybody.